We're live. Now you can talk.
I could talk
Morning.
before, too. Just
Oh,
nobody
I
can
didn't
hear me.
see it. I didn't see the message. Does it play?
Plays fine. I don't know what the deal was with the note,
Yeah, I couldn't figure it out either.
but I made you an offer on Instagram. You can look at it.
Okay. Where's it on Instagram-y?
Yeah.
Can you tell people they've exchanged a penis pump?
Is there a warranty on it on that thing?
The penis pump?
Yeah.
Hold on.
It's
Hold
actually an auto suck.
Okay.
It's been modified from a cigarette lighter to a USB power.
So there's a reel-to-reel tape that Terry wants, and they're negotiating terms. That's what's going on. Okay, everyone got that?
Everyone
Yes.
caught up now?
What's going on? Any news that we should be talking about?
Just Record Collector News is being distributed as we speak. It's really exciting. And that's all I got.
You mean you're mailing it to people?
Yeah. Oh, Harry's so excited he split.
Well, he's doing his hair and makeup. He forgot to do it.
I have someone to do my hair and makeup, okay? I don't need to do it. Good morning, everybody.
There it is.
Tomorrow's 4th of July. Is anyone planning on celebrating 4th of July?
Yeah, we're going to blow a bunch of shit up because nothing says America like blowing shit up.
Okay.
We're not allowed. We're going to listen to other people blow shit.
See if we can burn some people's houses down.
Go watch Tuesday's stream. We talked about it. Everyone knows about it. Everyone's known about it for two years when they first announced it.
What's that? What are you talking about?
So
Funkadelic Parliament.
Well, only certain the Westbound Funkadelic Records. They announced a couple of years ago that they went in partnership with Org, the reissue company label, to redo their records. The first one is coming out next month, and in all formats, but only the double 45 is going to be analog. There you go.
Boy, that makes it a difficult decision.
Well, and then Mike from the In-Groove did a video where he explains the decision on only making the 45 analog. So there you go.
Yeah, I understand the whole concept, but
I want Maggot Brain. I think most people just want Maggot Brain, although I own several. I own several original Westbound Funkadelic records, so we'll see.
It should be good. It should be good.
Yeah,
those records, I guess, really needed to be.
The 7-inch that came with the One Groove Under Nation album, that it's a live Maggot Brain, but it's really good.
Yeah, but that's Warner Brothers, right?
Yeah.
I might have the 7-inch. I have to check. I don't remember.
Well, that's where the penis pump is handy.
Wow. Who's the guy that covered Maggot Brain?
The guy that covered it?
Mike Watt.
All I can say is that I don't know about owning the Parliament records because they're all mostly the lyrics are just like, you should get funky in space. The Funkadelic records are more musical.
I want it on a reel. I want the Maggot Brain on a reel.
They might. I don't know. They might do it.
I don't know if they made it, but I imagine they
Norman
did.
can't appear today because he's critiquing himself.
Who can't appear?
Mr. Maslov. That's Mr. Maslov.
I don't know who you are, so I assume you're a fake person. let's see who this person is.
Cletus Aretas.
Yeah, I think he's not real.
That's a Zappa lyric.
Yeah, he's well, he could be real.
I think he's probably legit.
Are you okay? Your account suits my determination if you're real or not. You're real.
You will not be. We're not going
to. I tend to not go to the theater to see movies because I spent 30 years in movie theaters. And I don't like a lot of aspects of theaters. But I hear Jurassic World's getting slapped. People who have seen it don't like it. And Megan 2, it's not like the first one. It's more like a sci-fi, dark comedy action. But I think I'm going to break my rule. I think I'm going to go to the theater to see Superman. I think that movie could be the first. I don't know if there is a $2 billion movie. That movie could be the $2 billion movie. We're definitely going to make $1 billion.
Mazzy says he's getting up.
Well,
and in response to that, I'd like to say,
okay.
I'm sorry, what? Here's a great version of Maggot Brain, you guys. You know this record? Mike Watt?
When did that come out?
I had that on a long box CD.
95.
Who plays the guitar on the... Because Maggot Brain's mostly guitar solo.
Yeah, it's the guy from Jay Mascis.
Oh, he's a good guitar player.
Yeah, it's really
Dinosaur Jr., right?
Yes.
Jay Mascis is Dinosaur Jr.
Yeah, he
very erotic.
He really does it nice. Yeah, sorry.
Jim, when are we going to get some Record Collector News T-shirts? Everybody's waiting for them.
I'm trying to find I'm waiting until Mazzy decides who.
I told him to do this. I've told him to do lots of things.
I don't want to. Excuse me. I want to do the print on demand model, and from what I understand, Mazzy's having a hard time with the people he was using because they can't fulfill the order. So
why don't you find your own? It's not like Mazzy has some dialed-in connection.
If only you were in Los Angeles, where there's a million different places doing.
Yeah,
if I wanted to put out X amount of dollars and print up a whole bunch of T-shirts and run out of XXL before I run out of anything else, I could do it.
Every record store I went into in Los Angeles was out of T-shirts. Every one of them.
I have a drawer.
That's what they told you.
Record store T-shirts.
You know what? You have a reputation. You have a reputation, Harry, of being the worst billboard there possibly could be. No one needs you to.
Come on, everybody wants to go to Hawaii right now.
I'm whoring for MoFi today, man. So I got that going for me.
Hey,
hello, Fluffy.
So
I'll do a T-shirt.
If anyone didn't see, Mazzy shared it, but I follow the guy's podcast. Is that Mark Moran, who's ending gigantic podcast, is a big vinyl lover, and he has Chad on his newest podcast. So
I don't get that.
Like if you listen to Mark Moran hold on, dude. If you listen to Mark Moran, the first 15 minutes of his podcast, he's just talking. Then he goes into who he's interviewing. But this podcast is 90 minutes. So I don't know what they're discussing for over an hour.
I liked his TV show, though. That was funny.
Yeah.
It only ran like 6 episodes or something.
It was good.
Yeah. He has a TV show. He's acting more. There's a show about golf with Owen Wilson on Apple TV. He's in that.
If Owen Wilson's on it, it can't be very good.
Wow. That's a critique.
Well, can someone send a T-shirt to Harry saying Owen Wilson hater?
Who the fuck is Owen Wilson?
Your size again? Okay. Everyone knows Chad hired a PR company. Everyone knows that. And I've critiqued when, like the article in the New York Times, I go, he hired a PR firm. and that's how they got it.
For what purpose? To sell more records?
Yeah,
Harry, let me tell you how business works, because I don't think you understand. He's invested a lot of money in a lot of reissues. He would like to see a return on investment. He hired a PR company. That's what you have to do in these days.
He should have hired
instead of blowing, hardly anything on a beautiful print ad in Record Collector News, he hired a PR company.
I feel for what he does, the best for, and I teach this. I teach it because I teach. The number one indication of success is one thing, and one thing only: word of mouth.
Money.
No, it's word of mouth. That the way you can spend money, like in movies, you could spend money to open a film. You can't spend money to make a film do well in the second week.
Word of mouth. Oh.
Word of mouth. That's what you're spending your money on. Getting many people to see it, so their word of mouth can help sell the movie.
This is a good example. Ever since this stream, people have been flocking to the theaters, and it's not there. Why not? Because,
Harry, like all things about you, you're 30 years too late.
I do recommend this. If nobody's heard about this film, I recommend it.
Hey, Harry's just discovering juice boxes.
I can't. The little straw bends every time I try to poke it through the aluminum opening.
All I'm saying is word of mouth. So if you I understand hiring a PR company, but the best word of mouth Chad has is the vinyl community or YouTube vinyl collectors or social media vinyl collectors.
How much bigger can you get than to go on this
my feeling is he put his eggs in one basket, and that was the wrong basket to put your eggs into.
Who?
Why don't you guys go back to sleep?
Chad
put his with regards to us. He put his eggs in one basket, and it was the wrong basket to put his eggs in.
Now, I think Breakfast King brings up a very good point, and I'd like to ask the Peanut Gallery, what do you wear when you're wearing shorts and you're wearing maybe sneakers or you're wearing Skechers? What kind of socks do you wear, or do you not wear socks?
I only wear socks when I'm wearing like running shoes, like exercising.
Okay, and do they have to be white socks?
No. I have black. I always buy black running shoes, so I wear black.
You can't wear black socks
with ankle, the ones that go right over your ankle. I'm not like you, Harry. I don't have the socks that go up to my calf.
With the little different colored rings at the top. I only wear them with my shorts and my Converse.
If you teach college, all of you should know, even in the summer, you wear a corduroy jacket with elbow patches.
The Paper Chase. That's a new movie. Have you seen that?
Everyone's
They're going to make a TV show out of it.
Mr. Harry.
I can't wait.
Your point is worthless.
Excuse me, but do you have any Grey Poupon?
No, but
you ask too many questions. Why things should be mysterious?
What's it called?
Yeah. Like when I was with Robin, I said, "What's that smell?"
I go, "That's Jim."
It was pretty mysterious.
That's Jim.
It is my cesspit.
Okay, so Jim and I went and retrieved papers yesterday, and we discovered a place that was magical. Okay,
it's called Disneyland.
This guy's gonna ruin my story.
You know what?
It's Mark Maron. It's not Moran. It's Maron.
Mark Moran.
I thought there was something weird.
Hold on.
Mark Maron.
So Jim and I'm
making coffee. I'll listen.
Okay, I heard about this place on social media, and I like it when international, different countries chains open up in the US. Here in LA, since we have such a diverse landscape of people, a lot of foreign chains open up here. This Old Fairy Donut is a Korean donut chain. And Jim and I went into it. We were going to go to Paris Baguette. If you haven't been to Paris Baguette, go there. That's a chain. But this was next door, and it's Korean donuts, and they were insane. I think there's like 5 or 6 locations in LA. They're insane, man.
You shouldn't really let the cat out of the bag on those quite yet.
No, I'm not a gatekeeper. I'm telling you, there's enough of them in LA that you can go to them.
I won't go to a Korean restaurant or anything Korean after watching Squid Games.
Okay, good for you. But I've had
my favorite hot dog in LA is Carney's.
Actually, I've had Jollibee, and they have a competitor that has been opening up around LA from, I think, another Filipino chicken chain called Chowking, and Jollibee's better. If you haven't been to Jollibee's like kicking ass. I think they're the fastest growing fast food chain in the U.S. Go there; their chicken's good.
What's the biggest chain of any food wise?
I think it used to be Subway.
I think it still is.
No, really? I think. Well, Subway just bought Dave's Hot Chicken for $1 billion. Oh,
there's a Dave's Hot Chicken up here, I think.
It's Jim's favorite place.
Maybe it was LA.
I think if you held a gun to Jim's head, which becomes more an attractive thing every day, Dave's Hot Chicken's his favorite place.
Now that's driving around chicken, right? Huh? It's spicy chicken, right?
Yeah, but you can get low level. The medium
levels of spiciness.
Yeah. I will say this: you're not wrong. This is the only place I've been is like in St. Louis. It's a roast beef, and it's like real roast beef, not like Arby's.
Jersey Mike's is the best.
Yep. Apparently, if you want to get the most amazing $28 sandwich, but 2 people or 3 people can split it, Leo Laporte's son, who is a big influencer, Salt Mike, he's got millions of subscribers on Instagram, opened a place in the Lower East Side, I believe. So Salt Hanks, you New Yorkers, and all they have is this French dip sandwich. They do one sandwich on this huge loaf type of bread, $28, and it's supposed to be amazing. Go follow him, and it's Leo's son. I haven't seen him in years. So anyway,
when is that? I know your appearance is behind a paywall. When is it not?
Supposedly for a month. I'll find out. So it's probably another 3 weeks, give or take. I don't know.
How'd it go?
It went fine. It was really loose. It was fun. I got in earlier because the guy who was doing the digital stuff had to cut out early. So I kind of was in the behind the scenes. We also talked about personal shit and some other stuff. And it was fun because we went to Leo and I were at the Giants World Series game with the A's when the earthquake happened, because he was a DJ at KNBR at the time, and he got tickets to that. So, yeah.
My memory of that game is Jose Canseco in line to get gas, wearing his full uniform.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Really? I forgot all about that. I had forgotten. He said he had to get back to the station, and he said that I knew San Francisco so well that I got him back to the station on the back roads, because a lot of the streets out of Candlestick and 3rd Street, all these places were closed off, and there was a police presence, and just it was kind of a mess. It was like a zombie thing, but people weren't panicking, which is great. They weren't panicking, orderly. But I went all these side streets over 3rd Street from Bayshore and got him down south of Market to the station pretty quickly. I totally forgot about that. He talked about that on the.
Have you ever considered Uber?
Yes.
Waymo.
This was
I could have done it in San Francisco even before we had all these maps. I couldn't do it in Seattle without maps, that type of thing, even though I know the city pretty well now, but not the streets. There I know every street.
Like everyone's having a sandwich fight in the peanut gallery. Come to LA. The one near me is the Bay Cities Deli that makes the Godmother. That one's the famous sandwich in LA.
We have some good delis here. We have some.
They always have these lists. I don't know who make these lists, but Tony's Neapolitan Pizza in North Beach in San Francisco just came out third nationally. I don't even know who came in.
You know, Mazzy. Okay, calm down. We're talking about sandwiches. We're not talking about pizza. It's
food. Okay.
Can we talk about street tacos?
No,
that's not a sandwich. All right. Yeah,
it's sort of a sandwich.
Okay. Well, we have up here. There's Tat's Deli. That's pretty good. Tat's Deli.
Yeah, of course. But actually, in Seattle, my friend took me to this place. It begins with a P. It's a famous. It's
ends with a poop.
No, I forget what South American country. I want to say
it's probably closed because they deported everybody.
No, I'll look it up right now. Famous sandwich in Seattle.
They used to have Goldberg's up in Bellevue, which was really good, and they closed down.
Yeah, there's.
Tell Dan we started with donut talk, so that's cake, donut, same thing.
We did.
Caps in New York on like Houston at Ludlow.
I'm trying to find if this place is even still open. Begin with a P in Seattle. Okay. Paseos, Fremont.
I don't know it.
This place right here. And they make this sandwich, and it's pretty amazing. There were lines out the door of this place.
I just, I'm not the kind of person that's not being snooty, but I cannot wait in a line for any kind of food thing. It's like,
well, this was years ago, but that place is a good sandwich place.
Yeah, just the whole idea of waiting in line for food is like.
What's the best name you've ever seen for a pho restaurant?
Oh, I know it. There was a place in Culver.
There's one. There's one in Seattle called the Fuck King.
Well, there was Fuck It in San Francisco on Divisadero, closed last year. Fuck It.
There was a place in Culver. Guys, Rob is talking.
Well, but Harry started, so shut up.
There's a place in Culver City called. There was one. I don't know if it's still open. Called Faux Show.
Oh, that sounds good as Fuck It. There was a Fuck It in San Jose.
It's fun.
There was a Fuck It. There was a Fuck It in San Jose when I lived there.
Fuck It was the corner of Divisadero and Haight Street. But
my favorite in San Jose, and this might come off a little weird, there was a drive-through Mexican place, and on the window they spelled chips. I swear to God, SHIPS, chips.
Okay, congratulations on that story.
If you wanted 50 cents per chip.
Chuck T, can you find out? When I lived in Ocean City, Maryland, before I moved to LA, there's a place called Captain's Pizza. That pizza, I still remember. Now I'm talking about pizza, but that place in Ocean City.
Yeah,
see, they didn't call it Captain's
Pie. You can do whatever you want.
You go to Ocean City, go to Phillips and get a crab cake sandwich. You'll be okay. Crab cake.
There's a crab.
Is there a good sandwich? I'm going to Chicago in about 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks.
You get the beef, the beef sandwich.
No food in Chicago.
Well, I used to go to Shaw's Crab Shack, Crab House, I guess. Fonterra Grill. That's more.
But you get a hot dog, Chicago hot dog.
A good steak. I mean, Chicago. A good steak in Chicago. That's.
I don't want a good steak. Why do people always say you got to have a good steak?
Well, a lot of people. There's a lot.
You have to say good.
Well,
nobody wants a bad one.
No, Rob wanted to go for casino steak and eggs. He got all excited. $9.99.
$10 for steak and eggs. Harry wants a steak that has marks on it from where the jockey was hitting it.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, man. Okay, I'm going to watch that Hundreds Have Failed the Spicy Steel Curtain Challenge later. I'm going to save it for later, whoever shared that link.
I am going to see the Jurassic Park tomorrow, despite I kind of like
it's getting bad reviews. The best sandwich in LA, hands down. There's no fight or any challenge. You go to Langer's Deli. I think it's the number 17 or 19.
19.
Number 19. Twice baked rye, thick cut pastrami with a bark on it, coleslaw, and Thousand Island dressing. That is the best sandwich in LA, hands down.
I miss the Carnegie Deli closed about 15 years ago, and in Broadway Danny Rose they had the sandwich, which was called the Woody Allen. You know, they're named after people, but literally it's this high, and you cannot split it.
That was all the sandwiches at Carnegie.
Yeah, I know, but I understand that, but you can't split it. They won't allow you to split it.
No, so, easy now.
The Woody Allen was hot pastrami, corned beef, and chopped liver, and literally it was like nasty. Yeah, they're all pretty.
You goy them easy now. You goy them. A Reuben is grilled with not coleslaw, with
sauerkraut
and Swiss cheese. Okay. Yes. All right. Can you get it through your thick skull? It's a grilled sandwich.
I just used a magic marker and I drew a mustache on Mazzy, and now I can't get it off my screen. I should have used the erasable one.
Oh, that's bad. That's bad.
God damn.
That's not good.
You know, if you want, Harry, we can do Harry's stupid minute or something like that.
It'd be more than a moment.
So does anyone watch
the hour?
I didn't hear it because I was getting ready. And did anyone actually listen to the Mark Maron podcast with Chad?
No, here's the thing. I like putting them on when I go to sleep. I was afraid if I put that one on,
you have nightmares.
That would be in my nightmare. I
want to listen to it. I applaud Chad. I don't. He was an important person in the vinyl resurgence.
No,
what's the purpose
I don't
of
know.
it, though?
What's the purpose of interviewing anyone?
Why would they're promoting?
Is he going to sell more records that he's already selling out
There's a lot of people that have no idea that Chad and that vinyl thing exists.
Everything he prints is a limited edition.
No, that's not totally true.
Getting back to it, they're
not selling out.
Here's the deal with Mark Moran. The only connection I can see is he's a big
Maron.
He's a big vinyl dude.
Not moron.
He's a big vinyl dude. But I don't know if his audience.
There's a fake one, I think.
I don't know if his audience. I don't know if his audience would find that fascinating.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's like me on the Leo Laporte on Twit TV. It doesn't make sense on the surface for some guy into vinyl to be on this tech thing and everything, but
they were talking about music. That was the subject, right?
Right, and vinyl. They want to know about my system, and
no, but at least the way I saw the promotion of it is he had a digital guy, and you were like the analog dude.
Yeah, but it wasn't a this or that. Media. It wasn't a thing. Yeah. No, I think he just wanted to talk about a different thing, and a lot of people who don't follow us here or the whole going to record stores, don't you meet people all the time? And let's say you go to a party or you're somewhere that you're not within our people, and if someone says, "Oh, Mazzy collects records," or he has a YouTube, and they're so surprised, are people still buying records? There's a lot of people seriously that have no clue that there is a resurgence. They see a thing here and there on CBS Morning News about the vinyl resurgence every 2 years or something.
Mazzy, there's so many different genres on YouTube. I'm almost positive I could bring up a subject and you go, really? I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, of course.
But there's some following.
You're right. But Mark Maron is also in the new Apple show with Owen.
It's Maroon. It's Maroon. Mark Maroon.
It's not Maroon.
It's Mark.
He's in the new Apple show. He's ending his podcast soon after this year, I think.
Hey, Marcus, I'm glad I can provide this service for you. Okay.
I think I know who sold him that Macintosh. Mark Maranio.
All I'm saying is, no one has commented that they listened to it yet.
No, I will listen to it.
And we're the people.
Yeah,
but other people just like watching.
We're not the people who listen to Mark Moran, though.
Yeah, I am.
I don't get why people just sit around and listen to a podcast. I mean, do they? And they say, "Oh, I'm just going to sit here and listen to these people talk."
Like this, you mean?
Well, this year you interact with it.
Well, but come on, Harry.
It's like the old days of listening
it's
to
kind of like
radio.
books on tape. People in cars or people traveling like podcasts.
There's a guy that's basically I watch for an hour almost every day.
Who?
Galloway. What's his name? Professor G. Galloway. He does these talks, and he starts with, this is something we might discuss right now. There's a new ED pill out called Mycoxaflopin. Have you heard of it?
Okay, we're going to pause you for a second or mute you. Harry, I have a question for you. At any point in your life, did you listen to news radio or talk radio? No. You've never listened to any of that?
Well, like if I'm in the car.
Okay, podcasts have basically replaced all of that.
Yeah, but there's nowhere around here I can drive for an hour unless I want to go to LA and go for 5 miles.
You just literally did,
Harry.
You just drove to California.
Hold on, I'm going to walk Harry through this, everyone. Can you deal with it? Harry, how many times a week do you go out looking for records?
How many times a month? A couple times, 2 or 3.
And you typically drive a distance to get to these record places, stores, or where have you, right?
Right. I'm with you so far.
And while you're doing that, you can listen to a podcast. I mean, not all podcasts are 5 hours long. Plus, here's the cool thing about a podcast. You can pause it and then come back to it.
Much like this stream.
Exactly.
Who's got time for podcasts, really?
When I'm in my car, I listen to Apple Music or podcasts. I do sometimes, depends.
I'm just bringing Harry into the 21st
I listen to shitty music sometimes.
I do some podcasts on
Sirius XM when I'm in the car.
I do podcasts at night sometimes and fall asleep too, on my iPad.
I challenge you to do it to the Chad one.
I put on that, that round table that Concert Buddy has. I wait. I don't watch it live
right away.
I play it at night so I can fall asleep to it.
Hey, Concert Buddy, I'm going to break the news to you, and I hope you take this okay. Harry is not a fan of your podcast network.
Chance has got a podcast?
I think seriously, I think it's great that Concert Buddy started this podcast thing a couple years now, right? I don't listen to it because I do listen when I can to the YouTube version. So I see all the the whole thing. So it's not just edited down for the first hour.
Yeah, I like Chance's monologue. After that, I don't listen.
Hey, Chance, I'm going to break something else to you. Mazzy's the only one who watches your podcast from beginning to end.
Yeah, I like it. I'm saying I like it. I'm complimenting Chance. Seriously, I watch it.
Now, who's gonna? Mazzy, how come your compliment doesn't sound like a compliment?
Well, it is. Who's sitting in for Arnaldo today? He's on his way to Europe now. Him and
maybe you can take his place.
Did you see Arnaldo and Walter got married?
Very nice.
I know. They're so nice. They're so nice.
Hey, how many people in the vinyl community have gotten married? Do you know of any?
3 times. Oh, met in the community?
During their time in the vinyl community.
Shouldn't vinyl? I'm waiting for the first vinyl community person to get married on a live stream, a YouTube live stream.
Someone that met through the VC and
have couples been made? Have physical couples been made in the vinyl community?
You and Jim. So we're waiting for that.
Oh, wait! I have the best story from yesterday. Do you want to hear the best story?
Jim, we can't break us. We'll get to.
Hold on. Be his 5th wife.
This is the best story from yesterday. Jim and I, when we go pick up his papers, we go through the San Gabriel Valley, which is the heart of the Asian community.
Bring up Joey's comment.
And I'll bring up when I'm finished talking.
Talk about timing.
We typically will try a different dim sum place when we go to pick up his papers. When we went to a place we like, because it's cheap and fast and everything, we walk in, and Jim is very diminutive. Jim is easily a foot shorter than I am.
Yeah, when Rob and I go anywhere, there's a height difference. It's very obvious.
It's like
that Rob has some
literally
sort of a thyroid problem.
Everyone assumes correctly he is my sidekick. So as we're walking as we're walking into the restaurant, a group of 3 little people come out.
Very
and
little.
I never saw a smile so big on Jim's
very
face
little.
That
very little.
He came across people like grown adults that he was taller than. It was such a sweet moment.
This is a good story. This is a good
wait a minute. If all 3 of them stood on each other's shoulders, I think I'd still be taller.
This is a good story. My friend Chris, who has the channel The Long Cut, he's down in San Jose. He used to work with the archivist at Apple and another company. The nicest guy, and he talks about personal stories. Big Wilco Springsteen fan, and everything. And he did a conversation yesterday with this guy who's a Springsteen fanatic. And in the course of the thing, they talk at the end about some Springsteen movies. Apparently, there's a movie with fans talking about Springsteen. Harry must know.
Yeah, I've got it on DVD.
Okay, I've never seen it. Maybe we should play it sometime, because he says he watched that movie, and then one time he was doing he does some dating apps, and I think it was not Tinder, but Hinge, whatever. So he goes on this date, and he meets this woman who lives kind of near him in San Jose, and they sit down, and all of a sudden he says, "Wait a second, you were in the Springsteen documentary." And he's a huge Springsteen fan. Of course, the other guy says, "What, did you marry her finally?" He says, "No, they went out for only about a month or so, but not Grindr, Dana." But I thought that was kind of cool. Like, he recognized her and saw her in this documentary. And, for someone who's into music and Springsteen to meet someone, like date someone who's also into Springsteen, kind of cool.
So my wife and I met. My wife and I met because we're both Bruce fans.
Here we go. See?
That would have been a perfect story for someone to interrupt Mazzy.
So, Harry, that's the documentary that they asked fans to submit if they had footage, right? So my buddy, who is like a 50-year Bruce Springsteen fan, he said the first time he ever saw him was like in the 75 at a gym at University of Northridge here in California.
Cal State Northridge, yeah.
Cal State Northridge, sorry. That's what I meant to say. So he had snuck in like a 16 millimeter camera to several concerts and shot footage and submitted it, and that footage is in the documentary.
I gotta watch it.
The best thing in here, they talk about, there's a couple who sent a video in. The wife's a huge fan, and the husband's like, "I don't like the guy." But it was very funny the way they did it. And it was pretty.
That copy doesn't even look like it's been opened.
It hasn't. I've seen it before, and this I forget where I got it.
I want to borrow that sometime.
It's pretty good. I submitted.
If I borrow it, am I allowed to open it?
Hmm?
If I borrow it, am I allowed to open it?
Sure.
Do I have to do a video and a bot?
You got to do yeah.
Yeah, I don't do
opening video.
I'm really into. Okay, go ahead.
No, what did?
I'm really into the Springsteen
That's
box
what the
set.
stream's about, Mazzy. Tell us about your.
No, I'm into the Springsteen box set. The 5 core albums, unreleased albums.
But isn't all the music really just him going?
The greater it is.
Isn't most of the music on there just him going, "An American and the people on the road," and there?
But that is something. There is something, because the comments I've read on my videos and in the forums, there's a big segment of people that I don't want that Springsteen. All I want is the E Street Band and the Big Man Blow. They want this rock stuff, and it's kind of like saying, I did a thing and I compared it to, when Strawberry Fields and Penny Lane came out. That fame. Harry would know this, and I think Jim Wax wouldn't. On that clip on American Bandstand, they show the clip of Strawberry Fields and Penny Lane, the films, and the interviews the audience, and half the people, not about 6-7 people, they're weird. That's kind of weird. They have all that hair and
the mustaches and
yeah. Can you imagine if the Beatles listened to the fans at the time and just?
Well, Mazzy, if I interviewed your fans, I think they would say that about most of your videos.
That could be
weird.
That could be.
Hey, Paul, I do that. I have a big thing of Old Bay seasoning and I put it on my fries.
No, what I was talking about earlier is that where's that comment? Someone made a comment. Joey made a comment. Oh, did you know Mark Maron has Chad? Yeah, we were talking about that before you got up here. That's why. So
Chad's a nice guy. That's all I can say.
But still, we have no one. We have 160 people watching. No one has admitted to listening to the podcast.
It just dropped yesterday. It just dropped yesterday.
Well, some people have priorities.
I'm going to listen to it. I'll probably listen to it over the weekend. You know.
I mean, out of the 160, how many go to Chad's website and buy shit? And then out of that, how many give a shit about?
You know, when I got into doing this, it seemed like the main group of people would buy from Chad, and like slowly they've moved away from him, and it might have been because of his scolding of Mazzy.
I don't see that at all.
When was the last time you ordered? Well, you had credit, so you did order something from Chad.
You know, Rob, I'm sure you do too. I get like almost every day they're mostly from Chinese companies. You can kind of tell, Asian companies, these pitches to do something and on your channel, and they just want you to kind of buy it or give you a sample and promote it on Amazon. They don't want to pay you, of a branding because of your YouTube channel. And sometimes it's like some weird pillow or it's usually stuff has nothing to do with
pill.
Yeah, no, I don't have that, but I got one this morning. I got one this morning for something, and you know how it says "Dear" whatever. These are form letters. It said "Dear Michael 45 vinyl," and it came to my email thing.
That's good.
Wait. I wasn't half listening, Mazzy. Did you just say you got erectile dysfunction medicine ad directed for Michael 45?
It was something. It was like some kind of special pillow thing.
And I apologize to Chad if you're watching. Mazzy somehow took a kind of prompt by me that who still buys from Chad, and he turned it into an erectile dysfunction ad.
You know, if Chad has something I want, I have no problem buying from Chad. But lately,
actually, I have a reason why. He had a free shipping threshold because he doesn't do discounts. Well, he does 10% off, but not buy any of the shit he makes. You can't get a discount on that.
Right.
So he had a free shipping threshold that made it make sense. But now his free shipping threshold is like 150, I think.
Yeah.
It was 80, I think, at one point. And then it went to 100. I think it's higher than that. People can correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, see,
that coupled with sale, and he has sales tax.
Yeah.
So,
well, everyone has almost everyone has sales tax now.
No, I rather support. Like the In-Groove sells Chad stuff.
I will buy from the In-Groove every day before I'll buy from Chad, and because I don't really have to buy. We don't have to buy anything right away anymore. And if there's something I do want from Chad, it'll eventually get to. It might be later, but I'm not in a rush for that stuff, and I don't buy the.
I'm surprised Chad doesn't give you free copies of everything so you can promote it.
Well, the only thing I have gotten are the like the Bluesville records from Kraft.
He's creating those for Kraft.
He's curating them for Kraft, or him and a few other people. Well, not exactly, but I don't think he's happy me getting those. But Kraft I get some Kraft stuff, not everything, but I get some Kraft stuff. I've never complained about the quality of any of Chad's releases.
No, they're good.
They're great.
That really isn't the issue.
Yeah.
The issue is, I mean, it really, like if Mazzy was the spokesperson for a lot of companies, I'm sure most of you would stop buying from them. It really is sort of that.
Just because Chad shit the bed here, this is a tiny little pond.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, okay, but
except that's sort of grown. Like Von Ritchie literally just posted that.
To understand demographics and their power, the power of certain demographics, and the power of the vinyl community, even though by YouTube standards it's tiny. But let's look at this right. If you're a record company, Mazzy, like a Kraft, which is an established, well-funded label, how many, and you come out with a certain amount you're putting out, it typically is around the 500 to 1,000 pressing, right? That's usually what you do. So if we're such a small community, but yet we yield a couple hundred purchases of these pressings, that's a huge percentage there. So don't dismiss how small the vinyl community is or the amount of people there is influence. Right. But you know, that's it's really
direct, what it's about. You're right. It's a direct. I mean,
I think his market is more geographic, in my opinion. I don't know this for sure. I think his market is more people who can't get to record stores. I doubt if he sells as, you know, I doubt.
Actually, that's not true. I'll tell you why that's not true, Jim.
Why is that not true?
How many record stores sell Chad shit?
None.
All right, so that isn't his audience at all. People that can't get the way you're putting it is their choices. They can't get to a record store. Well, even if they could get to a record store, they can't buy Chad's shit.
He got you there, Jim.
Well, the thing of it is they can buy those titles for 89 cents all day long.
No, they can't buy Chad's reissues of those titles. Buy Chad's reissues, because
but they can buy other reissues of those titles used. Nothing.
Jim, this person right here is probably my number one critic. Kimbo,
why
doesn't agree with 99.9% of what I say, and all I'm saying is Chad, the majority of what Chad makes, Chad is the one who sells it. There is a small percentage of stores that carry his titles and sell it.
He sells it online.
It's because he doesn't want to wholesale it. He wants
have any of the Rhino 75s made it to stores? Maybe some stores, but I've never seen them in stores.
Well, I've seen them, but I think they were promo copies, like a reviewer got and sold at the store.
Because I think, I think the basic record buying market doesn't want the 45 RPMs unless it's.
But Harry, typically, it's hi-fi stores that are selling Chad's shit.
Yeah, actually, Definitive Audio here in Bellevue, the high-end audio.
That's true.
Like Common Wave. Common Wave sells Chad's shit.
Let's talk about Tom Green now, because we had a group chat with all these people.
What a jackass!
Not that Tom Green. This Tom Green. Okay.
Who the fuck is that?
This is the new head of the Beatles Apple.
Oh, okay.
We talked about that already.
He comes from the world of the Harry Potter franchises,
right?
And theme parks and books and movies and all that stuff. And we had a text, and I won't mention who unless Rob brings them up. One of the people in our text thought it was outrageous that someone from Harry Potter would run the Beatles company. And I think Rob and I agreed.
Well, I can tell you that this dude, I'll break it to all of you because I don't think any of you know this. The Harry Potter franchise, and this is what we're talking about. Not the movies, not the books, not the merchandising, not the theme parks. All the Harry Potter franchise, all those things together. The new head of Apple, I think he came from the publishing end of the Harry Potter, but maybe he was responsible for managing the Harry Potter franchise. He's a
Dr. Robert might be backstage. Is he backstage?
No.
We're gonna have Beatle.
Am I backstage? What are you? Come on, if you were. Okay, here's the deal.
I shouldn't
Dr. Robert, how did you get to Germany? Did you drive?
Yeah. Here's the thing. The Beatles stopped making new records 55 years ago. So the legacy is there. And I'm convinced it's not about just records anymore, music. It's about everything Beatles. Now, we get these wanker comments. We get these wanker comments like cash grab. Of course, it's making money for the brand. The Beatles are a brand now, whether you like it or not.
Let me ask you a question, Mazzy, okay?
Yeah.
So let's go back to the beginning. Why did the Beatles form Apple Corp? Why did they do this?
So they didn't have to go crawling on their knees to ask you to release a record.
Hold on.
Like most business, they wanted to have money.
They formed a corporation because they wanted to get the most amount of money from their artistic efforts. Am I wrong?
And they wanted to add to it in films and art.
Well, I understand that, but it was a money. It was a business. Yeah. It was a business enterprise.
Absolutely.
It was not a creative aspect to anything. Now, Mazzy, you're a very generous person, right?
It's to some people.
Right. But did you give a rat's ass when you were a professional person what your clients thought about what you did personally? Did you give a rat's ass?
What they thought about me, what I did personally?
No. If you were charitable in your private life, did you give a rat's ass if your clients knew about that?
I didn't care, but I didn't promote it.
Right. So the point that there's the one person who will have his chance to talk is they're two separate things.
Right.
They're two separate things.
But
they're two separate things.
I'm sorry, but this comment he makes about the cash grab thing is the laziest fucking comment. These are businesses. And for instance, everyone I taught when I was in London, the one thing I wish I had seen, and it seems like on the surface like the stupidest thing in the world, but for the last 4 or 5 years now, there's been this custom theater built on the Thames for the ABBA AI 3D show. Right? It's almost going back to like remember Disneyland, the animatronic Abraham Lincoln, but it's a modern version. Everyone who's seen it says it's fabulous. Now they might say it's, oh, what a ripoff. They're old and they're milking it. Of course they are, but people love it. People like to experience that. So I bet you this guy and the Beatles, there's going to be a Beatle version at some point, whether it's in that theater or somewhere else.
Well, you don't have to connect them to the Beatles. ABBA is a brand that the two creators of ABBA have turned into a full-fledged business. Yeah. Somewhere, I don't know this. I'm just going to make up a number. That Mamma Mia show, the Broadway show, there's probably hundreds of versions of it being performed around the world.
Yeah, but
so
Joe,
it's a business.
But Joey doesn't make sense. But at least ABBA has something to do with it. The Beatles are going to have. The Beatles have their finger in all this stuff. These four Sam Mendes movies, even the Beatles allow the creativity. They're going to allow the music. Part of it.
Can I make this sort of make sense to Dr. Robert, who has this weird view of this? Mazzy, how many employees do you think the Beatles Corp, Apple Corp has? How many employees?
Not a lot.
Do you think? But a good sizable amount.
I bet you they don't have
run that company. Do you think
they have more than like a dozen or 20 people? They bring in project people.
Yeah, well, right, but they are people. They're people make their living working for Beatles Corp. So here's my point, Mazzy. Do you think they get Christmas bonuses? Do you think they get health insurance? Do you think they're taken care of well? Do you think they have
if they're employees, absolutely.
They get an Apple Jam of the Month.
Right. So what I'm saying is when Dr. Robert has this weird thing that they need to be charitable, do you think they take care of their employees well?
Yes.
I mean, would you deem that a better thing of a company than you would of a Bruce Springsteen, who is probably worth over $300 million or some figure like that.
He's a billionaire.
Now he's by humanity's standards, he's obligated to donate a good portion of that to make the world a better place. Well, wait. Well, but that's not a requirement, and that's not what we're talking about, right? But so I want to give Dr. Robert a little bit of humanity in this. I have to think that the Beatles employees of Apple Corp feel well taken care of and respected.
Well,
that's my point.
He has a thing about business versus creativity, and having the Beatles and the estates, the four shareholders or whatever you want to call them, they have to approve everything. So you may not like Rob doesn't like Love in Vegas, but George Harrison brought that with the Cirque du Soleil. I thought it was fabulous. Now
I thought that was great.
Yeah. And it lasted for 10 years, 12 years, whatever it was, until they wanted something else. So that was a great way to expand the range of the music of the Beatles. I mean, and why not? I think why not? And if you don't like it, you don't have to,
I'm arguing with a guy named Robert. I'm a guy named Robert. That's the only connection, Chris.
You can't get on the stream, he says.
Yeah, so he's going to a cigar bar. Tough life for you, Dr. Robert. Why don't you go spend some time doing some surgery for the poor in Germany, Dr. Robert?
Yeah. Bruce sold his catalog to Sony. So but at least Sony, while he's alive, can still curate it. He curated this new box and the releases, but he doesn't own it.
And he got $500 million for it.
Oh, hold on.
So did Dylan. And
hold on. Dr. Robert, it's boring. Here's why I believe it is not boring to you, Dr. Robert. These are how albums get put out and reissued, and you buy them. These are business decisions that they make to do. So for you to be able to get the record you've always wanted until it's reissued, how is that boring to you? It's part of how they make business decisions.
Harry, can you imagine? Now, unfortunately, it was a shorter time, or fortunate the way it is. Can you imagine if all of a sudden we found out the Beatles in 1966, 67, before Sgt. Pepper, made like 2 albums complete, and they shelved them. And now we find out, and now they put them out. They're almost complete, and we get them now. At the time, not some new remix thing. Of course, it would be remixed for now. But if there were 2 complete albums, they decided, oh, we don't want that stuff right now. I think it's like the Dylan bootleg series. I'm a big Dylan fan. The bootleg series is a treasure trove of great music. I mean, the thing about Dylan, unlike everyone else, he may have 20 versions of Like a Rolling Stone, and each version is complete and different.
Well, hold on. Dr. Robert, there's 3 other people that are part of the thread, and Mazzy's speaking more about your comments, so they're not misrepresented. Secondly, I don't psychoanalyze me, Dr. Robert. I'm a grown man.
Yeah. I'm not picking.
Oh, hold on. Stop, Mazzy.
Rob,
Dr. Robert.
Hold on. Do you remember?
Hold on. I'm a grown man who argues with everybody because their points don't align with mine. I never fought with my brother like this. Never. It happened.
We're not picking on Dr. Rob.
Do you remember the conversation we had over coffee next to Mamu Records or whatever the hell it was called? Remember?
Maru.
We discussed this now. I said you need to lighten up.
Well, but hold on, Harry. I yell at you. I think I yell at Mazzy more than I yell at anyone else in this context, in this stupid context. I yell at people in the peanut gallery. So don't separate out my disagreeing with your point as true. Me trying to light you on fire and burn you to the ground.
You do shit on everybody. It's equal opportunity.
I'm an equal offender. I understand my persona and how I come off.
You know,
that's one good thing about it.
Look, I'm not picking on Dr. Robert, but I'm picking on all the people like that comment that Dr. Robert made in our text threads, and I know they're private, but it talks about something. And I made a video which I haven't posted, and I think it'll post on the weekend. One of my ongoing streams of consciousness rant videos that I like to do.
Patrick.
And the thing is, there's a whole group, and it's all over the forums on the Springsteen thing, and occasionally the Beatles threads of what artists owe fans. And this whole thing of artists, like someone made a comment on my Springsteen video. Nobody wrote, he goes, the problem with the Springsteen box is not what we, the fans, wanted. Well, fuck you, the commenter. Wait a second. He's speaking for all the fans. Well, Harry and I, maybe we didn't know we wanted it, but we like it. Todd likes it. Chris likes it.
There's a hardcore group of Bruce fans that only want E Street Band. They don't want his solo. And I don't understand that. How can you be a fan of the guy and not
hold on 1 second. Here's the response to your commenter, Mazzy. It is what your fans want. He didn't release it when he did it back in the day. The people who bought his catalog decided to put it out now, right?
No, I don't think so.
No. This started about 5 years ago. This box, the guy who wrote the liner notes, he was on a Facebook thing. He's a friend of mine. I don't know the guy.
He's a friend of mine. It's Eric Flanagan.
Yeah, and he started writing these notes 5 years ago. And then obviously updated them as it got finished, the project finished. So these have been worked on for years. And the funny thing is, all the people that say, we know this, they know more about the details. And I keep thinking of there's been these famous interviews with Bruce. And there's been rumor for years, and Harry probably knows this better than I do, but there's rumors of an electric Nebraska. The E Street Band did it. And for years, every time Springsteen's asked, he says no. Otherwise, they ask Max and Roy Bittan and whoever, and they said, yeah, we worked on most of those songs electric. And
well,
in the Rolling Stone article, apparently after the interview, a couple of weeks later, all of a sudden the writer gets a text from Bruce, and the text says, yeah, my guy's been looking through the things, and absolutely, yes, we did do most of the things. He forgot 40 years ago that the E Street Band worked on electric versions of Nebraska. He totally forgot.
The Electric Nebraska sessions basically turned into the Born in USA album, though.
Right.
But here's my question. This box set, which Bruce album does it closely resemble? Nebraska?
Which one? What?
This box that came out.
Well, it's all different. There's
electric stuff on it?
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff.
It's different eras.
It's a 35-year spread.
What's the newest stuff on it?
From Western Stars, there's like a crooner album, kind of like Elvis Costello and Burt Bacharach, like a Sinatra type album.
There's one album that he did as a soundtrack for a film, then the film never came out.
Right. There's one record that, the song Streets of Philadelphia, that was a massive hit. After that, and that's with loops and electronic stuff. It's very different than what Bruce was doing at the time. He did a whole album of that type of stuff and decided this is not right for me to release now. So one of the things is the Streets of Philadelphia sessions, where there's a lot of loops and electronics in it, and it's totally different.
So you've listened to the whole box already.
Oh, right? God, yeah, many times.
What's the best thing in it?
Well, I did a ranking. You could watch it.
I don't watch it.
My favorite is called Inyo, I-N-Y-O, and he was influenced, and drinking game, get your drinking shot glasses ready. He was influenced by Ry Cooder's The Border soundtrack about migrations and immigration, which is obviously very topical today. There's mariachi bands on it. There's all this. It's about California, the water wars in California that I'm sure Jim knows about, kind of like Chinatown, where the city of LA wanted the water from the farmers, and that whole battle had happened in the turn of the century when LA was becoming a city, basically.
Those farmers hard.
Yeah, totally. And so I compared it to I know it's a much later story, but Chavez Ravine with the migrants being ripped apart to build a new city, but instead they did a bait and switch and build Dodger Stadium. So there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that stuff. But you're right. There's a Nashville country album with slide pedal steel guitar. There's a real mix in this. Again, 5 distinct albums, and 2 albums are like demo or.
Is there a lot of guest appearances on the box?
A lot of what?
Guest
Not really. No. There's hardly any E Street Band. I think the last one has a few. That's why people are complaining who only want that Bruce, that Harry's right. There's if it's not the big man, if it's not the rock and roll, we don't want that shit. Bring me more Glockenspiel.
There's guys that only like
friends who went to Spain to see the show. They're seeing 3 shows in Europe while they're there. And they're both from Portland. I wonder if Dr. Robert knows them.
Didn't Dr. Robert? I think Dr. Robert, you're watching. Didn't you just see Patti Smith in Germany?
No, he had to leave, or he was sleeping in the car.
Oh,
He has to spread the love across Germany right now.
I wonder if he listened to Mark Maron's podcast while he was on the plane.
It's Mark Moran.
It's Mark Maron. It's Maron.
Moran. I do it by the old English pronunciation.
Chavez Ravine is good. I don't think it's his best, but I like Chavez Ravine.
I'll tell you what I think is his best. It's this one.
You don't have the box. That's what we're talking about.
This is fucking insane.
That's a great record. Yes, that's one of the Cuban guitar player.
Yeah,
that's one of his best. Yeah, that's one of his best collaborations.
I think it's his. That record kills me.
Yeah, it's so beautiful, isn't it?
And yet you're still here.
I die inside. I die. Oh, and then I come back. But I do need to go make boxes.
I miss Record Safari.
You miss Record Safari?
Yeah.
Why don't you
I
move
wish
to
I
LA?
could go there like every week.
Hey, come tomorrow. There's 20% off for the 4th of July.
I'm driving Chauncey and Chance around. Yes, in Burbank, we can stop at a number of gun stores.
Are you going to meet up with Joey for any record stores?
Tomorrow, Joey, tomorrow.
So how's it going down there with the National Guard and everything? Can you still get around to all the stores?
No,
you can barely move. Oh, that's totally the LA traffic. No, we did actually. When we were eating those crazy good donuts, we looked up in the sky and there was a military helicopter flying overhead. That's the only sign I've seen of them. I live not far West LA, before Westwood, near the 405, is the gigantic federal. Basically, most of it is the
federal building.
Yeah, the VA is mostly there, but there's also the National Guard. The armory thing is right there. I really don't see any sign of them. So.
No. On the other side of the freeway on Veteran and Wilshire, there's the federal building there. My friend lives on.
Yeah.
And they've got guys around.
Yeah, there. But I'll let you in on a little thing. There's always someone protesting there.
Yeah, always. It's true.
Always.
It's right near UCLA, blah, blah, blah. There are no more street tacos in LA. They're done. They got all the street tacoists. So
hold on. There are plenty of street
now Americans can get those jobs back.
Not in my neighborhood.
Have you ever
live where no one lives?
Have you ever tasted a gringo taco?
I live in street taco land.
You don't live where anyone lives. Near me, the street tacos are still around. So car washes have closed down.
They're gone near me.
I still get my yard work done, fortunately. That hasn't been affected yet.
I got a guy painting my house right now.
Next weekend. A week from Saturday. I think I'm going to do one.
Why don't you dye his hair blonde?
Yeah.
The street
and make him wear a leisure suit.
I don't know. The bacon wrapped hot dogs are usually like around event things. That's the only time I see
them.
And bars. Usually they were around bars that close up.
You got to put cream cheese on them.
I don't go to those places.
Those suck. Those are not good. I wouldn't eat them. But the place that we went to with Patrick, that hasn't been open in a couple of weeks now. They haven't been there in a couple of weeks.
Really?
Yeah. The only place that's open is there's one guy in a truck, and he does shawarma. And
but we're safe. But we're a safer country now, Jim. I mean, look at what happened in Idaho.
I left a Yelp review for Polly's Pies.
You did?
Very disappointed. The pizza, there was no pizza on the menu.
You know, it's like sometimes Harry turns into like a stereotypical guy. No one I've ever heard them call them pies. They're pizza. It's pizza.
Okay. Pie's an East Coast.
Want the pizza pie. Yeah?
Pie is like a mid or a Chicago thing. In the West Coast, they don't call them pies.
I'm going to show Rob. I picked up so many records. I want to show records. Okay.
Here's the boring part of the show now. Okay.
No, there's non-jazz, but there's a lot of jazz. Does anyone know this band?
No, and for good reason.
L.A. Ping Pong.
This is
You're supposed to show them like this, Rob.
This is Krautrock.
Krautrockage.
Krautrock from Germany.
Krautrock
sticker on it. This is not a cheap record.
Krautrock.
Okay. I got a bunch of Last Exit with Sonny Chirac records. I did not have this one. The cassette recording is 87.
Here's a trivia. What band put out an album called Last Exit?
No, that's not trivia. I'm talking about right. You're deflecting from me showing records, Mazzy. Come on.
Okay.
This is Sonny Chirac and Peter Brotzman, Bill Laswell, and Shannon Jackson.
Is he related to the guy in who's Chirac? Come on, Mazzy. Who's this guy?
He's not related to that person.
Sonny Chirac's a badass guitar player.
This is the one that everyone wants of the Last Exit records. I'll probably have some of these because I already have them in the auction. Next auction. Another one, Iron Path. Basically, it's free jazz, but it sounds like metal. That's what this stuff.
It's free jazz, but you got to pay for it. I don't understand that.
Does anyone, Mazzy, you got this record?
I know it, but I don't have it anymore. I used to have a promo with that same sticker. Yeah, it's been years.
Is it white label?
What is that, like 76, 1976?
77.
77, yeah.
Do you know this one? I didn't know this one.
No.
Attention.
Oh, I have that. Yeah,
it's just a different cover, right?
That's a comp.
No,
I think
it's a two. I thought it's a twofer of two different albums.
Yeah, it's a twofer. That's what I meant. Yeah. So it's a repackage of two of the records.
I think it came out in 75, but this is a 78 French pressing of this.
Have you showed that to Chris?
Chris who?
Vinyl Piper?
No, I have not.
You should. He may be interested in that.
He watches. Vinyl Piper, speak up. What about this, Mazzy?
I have that. I don't know which. I have a version of that. I think I might even have a Chad version of that.
This might
be
an
great record.
This is an OG stereo.
Yeah, that's a really good record. Yeah, I think I have a Chad version of that. So
I had this in my last auction. This is supposedly Tommy Flanagan overseas. This is a Van Gelder in the double X. It says that it's been changed to stereo, but I listened to it. It is not stereo. It's a lie. This is a really good record that came out in Sweden. I think it's a radio recording, live in Stockholm from 1960. It's a double LP. It really does sound very good. I had it once. It was my friend's. I sold for my friend, so I found a copy. This Jazz Bum Mike, I think, if you're in the Peanut Gallery, I think you might have picked up. This was originally a 10-inch. This is a Japanese reissue, which I think is 2 10-inches, and it sounds excellent. It's from, was it from the mid 50s? I think maybe early 50s. This is really good. It's a very hard to get record. The Japanese version, I don't think so.
Rick's, the Nina Simone stuff, most of it's been reissued at reasonable prices and good versions.
Chad did them as part of
like $35, which I
no, he did it as part of the Verve reissue campaign.
Yeah, okay.
All right, this I'll get into that in a second. This was one I was looking for a while, the Rosemary's Baby soundtrack. Because this, Rich, he's a Polish jazz musician who did a lot of Polanski's movie soundtracks.
Do you know?
Is that an original U.S.?
Yeah, it's original U.S. on DOT.
Do you know what the Beatle connection is with that?
Well, can I tell the rest of the story about this, and then you could tell a Beatle connection? This guy died shortly after the release of this because he was at a party in L.A. and he got into, like, I don't know if it was a play fight with another friend, and he got pushed to the ground and bumped his head, and he was like in a coma and died. It's sad, but he was an excellent.
People involved.
His records go for a lot of money. The jazz records, the Polish jazz records, but I've been looking for this. This is good. All right,
what's the Beatle connection? What's the Beatle connection in that? That movie.
Ringo,
I know the building.
Baby carriage.
Yeah, the Dakota. The Dakota's apartment building they lived in.
Yeah, this is the Americanization of his name. It's not his real name. I picked up this this Gene Ammons The Twister. Is a second pressing.
Right. There's two Beatle connections.
It's a second. What's the Beatle connection to this record?
Her sister.
Twist and Shout.
Her mother, her sister.
So this is a second pressing. It originally came out as jamming with Gene Ammons, but this sounds really good. It's not in the best condition, but it's a kick-ass lineup of people on here. Mal Waldron, Jackie McLean.
It's like every jazz record has the same 4 people on it.
You know what? You're a jazzist. You know, I feel ashamed that I haven't been doing this, but I go in the soul section now and try and find soul records, being in LA. And this, I don't think, is an easy to find jazz record. Does anyone know this White Heat record?
No, never seen it.
So this is a kind of soul funk band. This came out in 1975 on RCA. This album is produced by Barry White. I think this band turned into another band that was popular. the name escapes
Love
me.
Unlimited Orchestra,
Spectre or something like that. There. I reached out to John. He knows this band. He knows it. But this is a good. So these are the type of records I'm looking for in the soul section. These are probably records that average like $30 to $40 that you can't find. They came out. There's only
where you should go, Rob. I recommend you go to Bagatelle Records. Nicest guy in the business.
All right, here's the one. Does anyone know the Counts?
No,
I bet you John does. He's here.
Because don't they call Mazzy's house the Funk Pump?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
There's the band.
I've seen that record, but I don't know. I've never heard.
You know this label? Aware?
I'm not aware of it.
I haven't listened to this one yet, but the White Heat record's pretty cool.
Dana says he has, and it's good stuff.
Oh, are you joking, or do you have? When did you get into soul music?
He's into. Dana has a good taste. Aside from the Pearl Jam thing, he's into a lot of good stuff. Dana has a lot of roots and country stuff too, and he's got some good stuff.
Yeah, George, the guy who owns the store, was being humorous with Harry, and Harry's allergic to humor, so he took it offensively.
The guy,
the guy is a dick. I'm sorry.
Wow.
You should see the Yelp review I left for him.
I see Teddy Pendergrass records, but are Teddy Pendergrass records easy to find, or you can't find them clean?
Billy Paul, War of the Gods. That's all I'll say.
Watch it, Concert Bunny. I'm about to make a Supertramp comment next.
Hey, listen, dude. Pearl Jam sucks.
No,
don't be ashamed.
I think Pearl Jam's a great band. I just find their albums
they're not for me. Here's what I say.
They're great live. They're a great live band.
Obviously, they're hugely popular.
They're better than Dave Matthews.
Pearl Jam
absolutely.
Is for me.
Yes, you're right. Most people are better than Dave.
I like Dave Matthews better than Pearl Jam. There you
go. You're sick.
That's not right.
That's because Dave Matthews is originally from the East Coast, right?
Dave Matthews?
Wasn't he from like the DC area or somewhere on the East Coast?
No, so from what hold on.
South Africa.
I believe he immigrated to the US when he was 11.
Yeah. To
Charlottesville, Virginia. And that's where he started his whole
taking the white man's job.
Well, he had black guys.
You can't get much wider than Dave Matthews' music. Did have a black drummer though, didn't he? I think so.
Just like ants marching.
I mean, I think I vaguely remember that when Dave Matthews was like regionally playing around Virginia, but there were a lot of bands in that mix. There was a band called the Connells, if anyone remembers them. They would all play around the same circuit around the time I was aware of that. We're talking the mid 80s, late 80s or something.
I love, Kimbo has something like 10 or 15 copies of every Pearl Jam record, some sealed, some. I do admire that. I like that about him.
Hey, Kimbo, I don't admire that.
He has a great collection of that kind of a lot of Pacific Northwest bands, which is great.
It's a perfect waste of time as far as I'm concerned.
No, 10's a good album. I'll give it that. That's
their first album, right?
Yeah, I'd like to sing a bit of songs from 10.
Now, why do they call it 10 and not 1?
Kimbo will know.
Yeah. Are there 10 songs on it?
It's a fascinating thing. They wrote it for a 10-year-old to listen to.
Jeremy.
Listen, here's the way I feel.
Okay, I've met two of the members, and both of them were very friendly in person.
Oh, they're like this. They're more popular here than the Seahawks, definitely. But yeah, they're
again. Marcus, Dave Matthews has lived 3 times as long in the U.S. He came here when he was like 11.
Yeah, but his whole family and everyone's from there, Rob. He's got all the influence of there.
I don't know about
that. He was related to Elon Musk.
Yes, Lance did take the picture for the cover of the 10 album.
I think you have to listen to it 10 times.
I have a CD of it. I don't have it on vinyl.
Give me Kenny G.
I have the reissue.
Yeah,
there's not enough trombone in Pearl Jam's music for me.
Right. Isn't Gretchen, what's his name? Not Gretchen, Moncur the Third on the third Pearl Jam album?
There's a lot of jazz musicians on rock albums.
Of course. Hey, Yoko Ono, her first solo album has Ornette Coleman.
Ornette Coleman?
Yeah.
I will say I was disappointed. I was a member of the 10 Club or whatever the hell it was called, and we got concert tickets for the Key Arena through the club. And I thought, well, these would be good seats. They were terrible seats. They were like way on the side, all the way to the almost 3/4 of the way back. I figured the fan club would get options for better seating.
It's because your face is not camera ready, Harry. They got you away from the camera.
Oh, that's right. They did seating like that.
It's the way Trump seats people at his rallies.
So, Concert Buddy, tonight your theme is MoFi again. What's left to talk about Mobile Fidelity?
The fact that I'm wearing their T-shirt.
Hold on. Chance is going down his greatest hits. He's reliving his greatest hits. Is it a rerun?
No. Maybe there's something new. I don't know. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
There's always something new there.
Hold on. Chance. This is Chance. They're all going to talk about everyone got a copy of the new Rick James reissue by
Well, they are doing a Funkadelic album, which I normally would buy, but it's a double 45, so I'm passing on it. You know. They're doing
Mazzy. Listen, no one will succeed without getting Mazzy on board.
Mazzy, if you get a free copy of it on 45,
I don't get any free MoFi stuff. I have never. I'm up to this point. No. I suppose I could ask them and try to. I know Melinda gets MoFi stuff. You know, has a connection with that. I don't have a connection with them.
Are we doing a shot every time somebody says something?
Yeah,
we should do that on here.
If I say right footer,
everybody do a shot every time.
It's hard in the morning.
Can everyone congratulate this dipshit from getting banned? Keep trying. Keep trying, Arnie. It's Arnie Zanzibar. He needs to get a full erection while watching the show, and that's by making up a fake account and trying to.
You can just go online and get some my cocks a flopping.
But
no,
you know,
you can do it.
MoFi is releasing some interesting things. Not that I'm into them all, but like there's the second Alice Morissette record they're putting out, the Funkadelic record they're putting out. So they're doing something. Hey, Michael, poetry. You're in Colorado Springs, right? Joey Callio, his band, Seven Horses Doing Dada, is opening in Colorado Springs, I think the 12th. I don't know if you're around on the 12th. You should go see him or let me know. Maybe I can get you in. If you're around, let me, I think it's the 12th. Yeah, 712 Colorado Springs. So the 12th. Maybe they need an oboe player to sit in. It's Saturday night, the 12th, a week from the Saturday. Oh,
he's in South Dakota.
Yeah, I'll go to that show.
Hold on. Are there any good record stores in South Dakota?
They're all in North Dakota.
Are they allowed, or is anyone allowed to listen to music in South Dakota? I know you can't dance there.
You can, but they'll sue you.
Oh, geez. What's the whole point in having a North and South Dakota? What's the point with that?
Because East and West was already used.
Was there really a need to separate them by two? What's the population of each state?
Is there good sushi in South Dakota? That's what I want to know.
you know, pretty soon there's going to be an addition to Mount Rushmore. Or is that North Dakota? Which Dakota is that in? I forgot.
No one's sure.
This one time in band camp.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I saw? Okay, a good. I thought it was going to be really bad, but compared to that piece of shit Apple movie, you know, the Apple movie where it was with John Krasinski, and it's based like
that movie was not great, but it wasn't horrible. It was
terrible, and it was good people. But on Amazon Prime
or whatever,
it's kind of like the Nick Cage movies when they're looking for the Declaration of Independence, and but if you want a good mindless action movie, but actually kind of fun with a little bit of comedy, you know,
it's the John
Idris Elba is the prime minister, and John Cena, who I'm usually not a friend, is the president, former actor president, and it's an action thing. It just started on Amazon.
So as a movie insider, as you know, I am. The guy who directed the movie, if you saw the movie Nobody with Bob, what's his name?
Somebody.
There's a sequel coming out of that.
Yeah, but
somebody was a Nobody.
Actually, the sequel comes out in August in theaters. But the guy who directed Nobody directed this movie, and actually, he got in. He's a Russian dude who kind of brilliantly was showing his ability to do special effects, and he made this movie called Hardcore Harry, which is very first person. All the action in it is first, like video game first person. That's a really good movie. He made that kind of on his own, and that got picked up and released theatrically.
Well,
but this guy's a good director.
Yeah, I don't know about Odenkirk as a badass.
Have you seen Nobody?
It works.
No. Yeah, because it works. It has a good sense of humor.
It's work. It's kind of like
I like him though. I like everything.
Better Call Saul. I mean, he got to be kind of a hard ass in that.
Can I help it? Let me talk to Harry right now. Harry, in about 20 years, go to Amazon, go to Amoeba, and get a copy of Nobody and watch it.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of John Cena, but because he's always too goofy for me. But he was okay in this. I mean, but I like. The movie's better than it should have been, I guess. I just was enjoyed it last night.
Where is this movie showing?
It's on Amazon Prime. Do you have Prime?
Yeah. So nobody's on Prime?
No.
No.
Nobody. If you have Peacock, probably it's on there because it's Universal. If anyone, it's probably streaming on Peacock.
Okay.
But Nobody is excellent. If you have not seen it, what's his name?
The one I talk.
Christopher Lloyd's in it.
The one I'm talking about is called Heads of State. Idris Elba and John Cena, Heads of State. It's just a good mindless action kind of buddy comedy, but it's good. It's good. If you like a lot of shoot ups and that stuff. Yeah.
Harry, you can watch Nobody.
I'm watching Nobody right now.
Well, stick it up your bang bang hole.
I always think John Cena overacts usually and is always cutting up. That's some about him. Just
all right. Nobody
brings it down.
You can stream Nobody on Amazon Prime for free. So you can watch both movies.
It's good. It's good.
If you have not seen Nobody, highly recommended.
This Amazon Prime. Now, what is Prime? What is this Prime you talk about?
It's better than Choice.
Hey, Harry, I got Bagatelle on the phone. He'll explain it to you right now.
The fucked up thing with Prime in the last year, all of a sudden, after years of watching Prime, everything has commercials now. Now you got to pay even extra without commercials.
Well, hold on, Mazzy. Have you watched the TV show Peacemaker on Max?
Yeah, you
didn't like it? That show is genius.
Yeah, well, I don't like John Cena that much. It's okay. Again, he's always so goofy, overacting.
Hold on. Hey, John Cena, if you're watching, when you put out your albums, do not send a Gravy Train copy to Mazzy.
You know, what's nice about this is Idris is so a great actor and so low key. He brings it down. He balances it out. So I love him. I love the what's that the Luther series on the BBC. That's a great series.
What are you testing for, Jim?
What are those numbers all about? We can't see them.
What numbers?
What number?
If you look off of, if you look at YouTube through YouTube, the commenters, Easy Now is number 1, and Matt Basterson is number 3. And
maybe you need to restart your YouTube.
No. It's it happened on. It's been happening on more and more.
Hey, I just got a notice. There's a job alert. Senior Vice President, Head of Creative Services for Universal Music Group in New York City on site. I still get these.
Well, the pool of people here are so highly qualified for that job.
I should move to New York and become the.
I picked this record up. It's from 1955. And I'm sure most of you are going to know who this person is.
Never heard of him.
Can you make me big?
Okay, can I say who that is? That is the short French guy in Hogan's Heroes.
Corporal LeBleu or something like that. From
I don't know if this is accurately true, but I think on Hogan's Heroes, he was the only actor who's actually in the Holocaust.
Yeah,
he's a Jew, and he got out and came to the U.S. French Jew. I could be wrong, but I believe that is.
You could be right too.
Yeah,
you may be wrong. It may just be a lunatic you're looking for. You may be right.
This is funny. Do you ever get these emails? About SEO scores in terms, SEO scores in terms of internet and finding things. I get this email from all the time. Thank you. Your channel has 1.5 thousand videos and 39.2 subscribers. That's not right, but which is excellent. However, your videos are not getting the expected views because of your SEO score. And they send me this diagram. Look at this. Can you make it bigger? This whole diagram. That's pretty funny, I think. And how I can
crawl.
No, I know it's a pay thing, and they could, increase your SEO scores and stuff. And they're by use.
That's a good question. Let's ask everybody what their favorite movie is.
Because we never do that here. Barry,
I've never heard.
My favorite movie is The Stuntman with Peter O'Toole. I say it, always say it.
My favorite movie is Dances with Wolves.
Really?
Man, what a boring choice.
It's a great film.
Harry likes to reenact the scene where they communicate with each other by crawling around like a buffalo.
My favorite movie, because of the message behind it, is Talladega Nights.
I did talk. I can't remember. We talk about F1 is kind of fun seeing that. I saw that movie. And
when is Rachel's documentary coming out? By the way,
not for a while. I just got a thing from Greg yesterday asking about. He was in the peanut gallery. Yeah, he asked me about coming out. Harry needs to know. He has a new editor. That's I don't know if that's
the
one thing you need to know about Harry is he needs to plan his movie viewing 30 years in advance.
Have you seen Talladega Nights, Harry?
I have.
Fucking brilliant.
Yeah, yeah. All of his movies are brilliant.
If you're not first, you're last.
It's like the most, but that explains a lot because you're also a Frank Zappa fan.
Okay. Yeah. But it's the whole if you're not first, you're last. He lived his whole life by that. And then when he met his father later,
unless you're the lead dog on a sled team, the view never changes.
Why isn't your favorite movie, Jim, the Frank Zappa movie, the 300 Motels or whatever?
200 Motels.
200 Motels.
The 200 Motels? That's probably, I would say, one of the 6 worst movies of all time.
I saw it in the Monkees movie Head.
Yeah, I saw it in the theater when it came out, and I saw it in the theater when it came out, and I remember it was one of the first movies I remember.
Haven't seen Green Mile yet.
Shot on video, transferred to film, blown up, and it looked weird. And then you got Theodore Bikel, Ringo Starr playing Zappa.
It's terrible. I've watched it, and it doesn't get better with time.
Head works, at least.
I want to watch. I think next on my list is what's that one? Oh, God, I can't think of the title. Hang on a minute. Get back to me.
The movies where I learned.
No, Harry, we're not leaving until you tell me.
See what?
Sixth Sense, but nobody ruin it for me, okay? I've heard there's a trick. There's a plot twist.
You know, it's another movie no one ruined for Harry is The Crying Game.
Yeah.
Don't ruin that for Harry.
Unless you've seen Ace Ventura.
Do I need to take Kleenex and tissue with me?
You definitely need to take tissue with you.
Don't ruin Jesus Christ Superstar for Harry either.
I thought I didn't watch it all. I watched like 5 minutes of Shawshank, and I said, I know where this is going.
Wayne's World.
Where is it going?
The most
prison rape? What?
Oh, that surprised me there. I had no idea that kind of stuff goes on in prison.
The number one philosopher of our time is Garth from Wayne's World. When he looked at the camera and said, "We fear change. We fear change." And then in Talladega Nights, when he lived his life by, if you're not first, you're last, and then he met his dad, and his dad goes, "That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life."
Michael.
Hey, Michael.
Good morning, everyone.
Michael.
Hey, what's this?
South Dakota.
That is the summer tour stash.
That's the summer Navy tour stash.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about that preamp, dude. Fuck.
It
sounds good.
I mean, try it. They'll give you a risk-free trial because they sell direct. They're a pretty small operation. It's a really, like, if you really want like a tube amp that has like a very like energetic and like rhythmic sound, like that's probably what you're, if you want your system to have like this drive to it, that's a
well, I want to pair it with solid state. So
yeah, I mean, what I liked about that preamp is that it had everything I wanted in solid state, but then it just had a little bit of that tube niceness.
Very nice. Okay.
Did you review it or you just?
Yeah, I reviewed it. I reviewed it for the Absolute Sound. I'll send it to you.
It's a good review.
I think I'm gonna buy it. I need a preamp.
Have you considered doing a podcast on
it?
You're missing the joke.
Is that a reference to something?
Yeah, don't.
Yeah, earlier today we were talking.
It's something Harry said in 1983. Basically.
We were talking about donuts. What's that donut store?
That
Happy Donuts.
What's it called again? Rob the Waxed?
Old Fairy Donuts.
Old Fairy.
So it turns out Rapid City, South Dakota has a pretty good record store. This place called Black Hills Vinyl.
Just one?
Really?
Yeah, I think just one. Every town I've been in on this tour, I've kind of looked up if there are record stores and where they are. And when I was in Cheyenne, there was a record store that wasn't open. There wasn't anything in Laramie. There wasn't anything in Nebraska. But Rapid City.
The one in Cheyenne, and was it called Too Many Records?
Uh-huh.
Kinky Creeper has a song called.
Are these college towns?
Rapid City.
No, Rapid City is like Rapid City is the town closest to the Black Hills. So it's kind of like a little bit of a tourist town.
I'm going to say something Harry would say. Apparently, it's a really fast city.
Okay, horrible jokes aside, Michael.
I didn't get that one.
I'm almost certain that every town. Hold on. I'm almost certain every town you're going to on this tour, there's a restaurant with a food challenge. Can you go to the place tonight?
That is definitely this tour.
Can you go eat the 80-pound steak? But you have to finish all the fixins, a salad, a baked potato, and a loaf of garlic bread.
And then it's free. You save $20.
Yeah.
And you get your picture on the wall.
That'll be great right before I play a concert. That'll feel amazing.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway,
hey, listen, if there's a boring city in the U.S., Chris Record Talk has been there.
Cool.
Yeah,
we didn't spend much time in Laramie. Yeah, I'm gonna show some records. So I got some stuff at this place called Black Hills Vinyl the other day, and it's a pretty cool store. They had some good stuff. Well, I got to show this, and you're gonna make fun of me, but it was really cool. I wanted to get it.
Hey man,
I would have bought that.
These guys.
I love me some yacht rock. I didn't know Nautilus did this record.
I like
Diamond
the
Girl is their
record
best album
until their next album. Their whole thing, "Don't Kill the Baby," all this anti-abortion stuff they sang about.
Hey,
wait, they became an anti-abortion band?
Yeah.
No, they were Baha'is.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Did you know all these?
But that's a good album. That's an excellent record.
But there was a remix in the '90s of "Summer Breeze" where they put a little hip hop beat on it. That's a good version.
Mm-hmm. They had a little. It's weird that all these like famous '70s prog bands had this weird like super religious phase. Like the same thing happened to Kansas. Kansas became like a Christian band after they had like a bunch of lineup.
Well, actually, when the lead singer left and they replaced the lead singer, that dude was a huge Christian. I think he came from a Christian rock band, right?
You know, Terry
Livgren
guitarist left already and did Christian music.
Yeah,
that's a good record. It's a great sounding record. That Stills and Crofts.
Yeah, and I'm excited. Like apparently the Nautilus people actually like this one. So
yeah,
Patrick's not gonna like that.
No, well,
Patrick's listening. Patrick, what's your take on? Because I think you have 20 copies of a Zappa record, Jim. Patrick has 20 copies of Summer Breeze.
And Oh Hummingbird. Oh Hummingbird.
What's the other record you got? Is that the only record?
They had a little classical section. I had a white dog of this, but now I have a shaded dog of this. This was cool. I have a box set that this record's in, but I don't have the record itself, and I'm just trying to get every living stereo I can get so I can do this video series. The Vienna Phil playing Brahms one with Carillon. This is like this is that Soraya series where they do the really nice jackets and like the booklets inside and everything.
Are they linen?
This is like textured. Yeah, it looks like linen.
Okay.
Do you have any plans going to LA at all in the next near future?
Not in the near future.
Did you see that new classical record store that opened?
Well, yeah, it's Greg.
That's his friend.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know they was your okay.
Can I get your thoughts on this?
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's probably one of the best recordings of Schubert 9.
Man, I played this, blew my mind. It's so good.
Yeah.
Killed me.
Yeah.
Killed me.
I think I just have I have the speakers corner of that.
And he doesn't have much of a mind to blow.
Here, blue back.
I didn't find any bluebacks, but I did get this. I did get this Mercury for $3, and I already have it, but it was $3. So
what did that go for?
Like 20, 30.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's super clean too, so it might actually replace my play copy. It might be the upgrade. We'll see. This was cool. Has anyone in videos I've talked about this guy before? This guy Makami Khan.
What kind of music is it?
He was a experimental folk artist from Japan in the 70s that had some records on I forget what he was on. Maybe it was CBS. And like one of his records was so controversial it got pulled from the shelves. It got taken off sale. But this was his like comeback album in the 90s, and it's just him and an electric guitar, and it's kind of wacky. And this was like discounted. This was, I guess, sitting in their bin too long, so they discounted it to $50. Apparently it's good. I mean, I've never listened to any of his stuff that isn't from the 70s, but if you like that kind of like, I want to compare him to Yoko Ono because I think he's better than Yoko Ono. But if you like that weird kind of vocalizing stuff and just kind of like avant-garde artsy shit, you'd like Makami Khan.
Very nice.
How much was that record, Patrick? How much you pay for the Nimbus Pepper?
What did he say about the? Did he like the Seals and Crofts one? I couldn't see.
No, he has no opinion. He bought the Nimbus Sgt. Pepper, and he paid too much for it. That's the subject.
You'll never lose money on it.
I got finally I've been looking for stuff by Rainbow for a long time. They had Rainbow on stage, and this was the Monarch cut with done by Sterling. You guys know this band, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Richie
Yeah,
Blackmore.
But there's like 5 different versions of that band.
Yeah, but this is the version with Dio. I think this is the last. This might be the last record they did with Dio. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's their big double live album. And then this was really cheap, so I took a chance on it. This is I got the Isaac Hayes live at Sahara Tahoe.
Is that the cover that opens?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Nice.
Let's see, Isaac Hayes man boob.
Oh, very cool.
With his chains.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it looked like it was a pretty elaborate show. I mean, everyone's got the costumes, and I have no idea if it sounds good, but
he was the biggest Stax act for a few years there.
I was listening to Hot Buttered Soul this week, and
Chris Record Talk. Stone Cold is a kick-ass song, man. But what's the version with Grant? What's his face? The singer, Rainbow. That went on to do Alcatraz. Wasn't he in Rainbow?
Maybe, but I mean, the only Rainbow singer I'm familiar with is Dio.
Well, there's Joe Lynn Turner. There's Graham Bottom. He's a good singer, but he looked like a normal dude and had this crazy voice. Gas Mask, not him. How you doing, Gas Mask? I hope you're doing well. I have to go. I bought like 20 classical records.
Yeah, and you got to send me a price for this.
I will.
Gas Mask and Hand Grenades is a good name for people in LA right now.
Yes. Yeah, I wish you were still here. You know, Harry, I wish you were still here to catch all the bullets for me.
Although, wait a minute, they just had a gigantic fireworks warehouse explode up around Sacramento.
Yeah, yesterday. Like 7 people died.
Where were you, Patrick?
Yeah, where the fuck was Patrick?
He was on a live stream at the time that it happened.
Hey, should I show the classical records so Michael can tell us about them?
Sure.
I'm gonna go get them.
By the way, I'll say this if anyone's viewing. If anyone is near the South Dakota area, tonight and tomorrow night we're playing Mount Rushmore. It's totally free. Come out. I think it's around 7 p.m. Yeah, come see some free music.
Cool. Have they added the new head yet?
Yeah, they're working on it.
Yep.
They're moving Crazy Horse up there.
Have you played Rhapsody in Blue?
Yeah.
I love that.
Many times.
I absolutely love that.
That is a staple of Pop's concerts. I have played Rhapsody in Blue probably 10 or 11 times.
Okay.
Have you done the Nutcracker Suite for Christmas?
Not the suite. I've done the whole ballet.
Hey, it's fascinating to hear your limited knowledge of classical music, but let's look at some records.
Yeah. That's a really nice Mercury. I have a speaker's corner of that. Rob's going to hold that for me. So Song of the Nightingale is one of Stravinsky's like tone poems. The other stuff on there is not as famous, but this is like I'm pretty sure this was on the TAS list, this album.
It is. You should tell me what to keep, and then we'll move from there too.
Well, do you have the there's a better Song of the Nightingale to get than that one.
Okay.
The Living Stereo one.
That means, you know what that means? It means Michael wants that record and I shouldn't.
Well, no, it's just if you're gonna have a Song of the Nightingale, get the one that has the Lieutenant KJ suite on it, and that's the Living Stereo with Reiner.
Okay.
So here's a story about that record. So
right.
All 4 Brahms symphonies came out on Living Stereo. Some were recorded by Herbert von Karajan, some were recorded by Charles Munch. One was recorded by Fritz Reiner. And there exists, and I own it, there's a very, very rare box set that bundles up all 4 recordings of the Brahms Symphony on Living Stereo into one box set, and I have that box set. But the record that Rob is holding up, Brahms 4 with Munch and the Boston Symphony, that is in the same box set as this one, the Brahms Symphony No. 1 with Herbert von Karajan. They later were compiled into the same set, even though they were originally released separately.
So they're different recordings, but are they the artist's original intention?
Well,
Harry.
Man, I wish you could catch bullets right now. What's the deal with this, Michael?
That's a hype sticker about the Miracle Surface anti-static ingredient that they started putting in their records. I want to say that those entered the presses around 1960. So if you find one of those, it usually means it was pressed after 1960.
These are records I've had already. What's your opinion on these Phase 4 stereo?
Some of them can be really good, but they're generally they're a little wacky. Like some of them are like hyper panned, or they're very like they tried to make. I think they tried to make these sound like hi-fi records,
like ping pong records.
Like what?
Ping pong, Command Records, Enoch Light,
stuff like a little bit of that.
Wide
some
patch
of them are
for
quite
pad
good.
stereo.
Yeah, it's more of a mix. People don't really collect them because it's more of a mixed bag. You got to hunt out the ones that are really good. Okay, so I have that. I don't know if it's clean, but I actually, Rob, hang on to that one for me because when I get home,
who does the artwork on these albums?
I'm gonna check my copy of that and see if it's worth hanging on to.
This one has some leaching on it, so I have to clean it.
Yeah,
leaching.
So
leaching
I wanted
is a term I've learned where I used to call it paper burn, but it's technically called leaching.
Okay.
Yeah, like the plastic sleeve leaches onto the record.
Okay.
So hold that record up, Rob. So Der Rosenkavalier is an opera by Richard Strauss. It's actually it's a really interesting. It's the last major work that Strauss did. It's the last big opera Strauss did, kind of near the end of his career. And it's a beautiful opera. Like most of Strauss's operas are these like really like violent, like shocking operas. Like you have Salome, or the Dance of the Seven Veils, where you get stripping on stage in the opera. You have Electra, which is like this very like dramatic, violent opera. And then he writes this wonderful little comedy called Der Rosenkavalier, and it's a love triangle between this older woman, this rich older woman, is having an affair with this like 18-year-old young like army lieutenant or something, but then he falls in love with a princess, and it's this love triangle between the three of them. But Strauss wrote the voices all for sopranos and altos, and so all the main characters are played by women in this, even though one of them's meant to be a man. But in the end, there's this beautiful, beautiful trio where the older I don't know, are we allowed to say MILF on this stream? The older MILF gives away the young boy to his beloved, and there's like this. He writes this trio, and it's just like the most beautiful music you'll ever listen to in your life. And that's the orchestral suite from it.
Okay.
Corroboree, that's an audiophile record for sure. Is that the stereo version?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You tell me what you told me. Like, if you're going to get the Everest recordings, you get this.
You either want that label or you want the purple one.
Okay. And the ones some have that Dell that pulls the record out.
Yeah, the early ones have that. So that's a record that I think the composer's Antile. Who composed this?
You guys look alike on the cover.
Wow. Yeah, very funny. So it's meant to represent. It's by an Australian
That's who
composer.
you are.
It's meant
That's what you are.
To be a suite on like Aboriginal music.
This is one I should keep because it's audiophile.
Yeah, you should keep that.
Okay.
Well, what if you don't like the music?
It doesn't
Why
matter.
don't you listen to it?
Listen.
And if you like the music, then you keep it.
I agree, Harry.
You've been around the violent
It's the
community way
music,
too long,
stupid.
Harry. It's about status.
I just got that record. Yeah, it's Tchaikovsky 4. That's a recording is not super famous, but it's Altualfa Argenta.
Blow back, Jim. Blow back.
Yeah, everyone should have a recording of Tchaikovsky 4. It's kind of like one of those you got to have.
Is that an early Bananarama album?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's a nice label.
This is like mid condition, the cover and the vinyl. I'll keep this one then. All right.
Yeah, 1812 Overture. That is like the first or the second Decca recording that was released in the stereo catalog. I don't think
what's the definitive version of the 1812 Overture.
You know, Scott from the record or the Pressing Matters did a cool video on this, but I think it's probably the Mercury. The Mercury is like the one to go for on this because they didn't really know how to record the cannons for a long time, and some of them don't have cannons. I can't remember if that one has cannons or not. But the Mercury, they got the recording.
Yeah, what stereo?
The Mercury, they got the recording of the cannons right.
Mazzy, do you remember what serial? This is the serial that shot from guns. This is
I remember, but the 1812 is used in Help.
I'm really.
I know, but what stereo was it? Was it Sugar Pops?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I think it might have been Sugar Pops.
I don't know. Your dietary concerns are at the bottom of my interest.
Do you guys know this piece?
Take the shrink wrap off. Yeah. It'll warp.
Lemaire is Bobby Darin did his version of it. It was originally a French pop hit.
It's living stereo, Rob. Just give it to me.
If you look closely, you can see Harry's washed up body.
Yeah.
Now, is that the same song that became the pop song?
Oh, it's a White Dog.
Very good, Scott.
There's a really good Analog Productions reissue of this record, and it sounds amazing. This is, if you ever want, probably one of the Debussy pieces you should have is Lemaire. It's amazing. It just kind of washes over you.
This isn't a keeper.
Is that the same piece of music that was turned into a pop song, French pop song, then Bobby Darin covered it as the C? No?
Probably not. Because No.
Okay.
Musica Hungarica. This is a cool recording. This is one of the recordings that Dorati did with a group called Philharmonia Hungarica, and it was a group of it was exiles from Hungary after
that exile.
No,
it was exile. So after the do you guys know the Hungarian Revolution in 1956?
Well, only 3 of us were alive. Not me.
So in the 50s, the Hungarians tried to throw off the Soviets. They had a popular uprising to try to get Hungary out of communism and out of the Soviet sphere of influence. And Nikita Khrushchev famously sent in the Red Army, sent in the tanks to quash the rebellion, kill the protesters. And so at that time, a lot of artists left Hungary. They saw the writing on the wall and they escaped. They fled Hungary. A lot of them settled in Germany.
A lot of them were hungry when they left.
Regardless if these can be found for $1, Harry, these are not cheap versions of these records.
Yeah.
So here's a
wait. Can I at least finish for the two people in the peanut gallery that care? So all the Hungarian
podcast.
All the Hungarian artists that fled Hungary during that time, they actually, enough musicians fled Hungary that they were able to start an orchestra in exile. And that's the Philharmonia Hungarica that Antal Dorati is conducting here. It was an orchestra in exile living in West Germany, made up of Hungarian artists that fled from the Soviet occupation.
Now, serious question for Michael. How do you know all this? I mean, at what age did you become really involved with classical music?
In late high school. But Harry, I took classes on this stuff.
You went to college for this, you numbskull.
Amazing. It's amazing.
They did actually teach me something in college.
Education. When the doctor has his hand up your tuchus, Harry, do you go, how do you know to put your hand up my tuchus?
That's a really good sounding Mercury. I have a copy of that.
Now, what is now this is a attached strip, by the way.
Yeah. This was part of a series of recordings. Mercury was one of the first labels to do record on, instead of 1/4-inch tape, 35mm magnetic film. The 35mm magnetic film is a much more fragile medium to work with, but the idea was that you could have more dynamic range on the tape.
Better sound.
Yeah.
The
beta their 35mm recordings are pretty dynamic and lively, but you can't reissue any of them because it's hard to reissue them because the tape is just not held up over the years.
Now, so this is a keeper.
Yeah. Well, you have to decide if you like the music because Wozzeck is a very
by your recommendation.
Yeah. And that's one that I'm going to let someone else have because I have so many copies of. That is like a very famous audiophile recording. Doesn't that have Capriccio Espagnol on it? Yeah, Capriccio Espagnol, Rimsky-Korsakov. Yeah, it's that is like
for me, it should be a keeper then.
Yeah, listen to it. I mean, it's going to sound really good.
This is mint, by the way. But the cover. I think did I buy a copy of this for you?
So Rob at Amoeba bought a copy of this for me that was the ORG double 45 that Bernie Grunman did.
Rob, based on your criteria for keepers, you should have all the Pearl Jam records.
Shove them down the toilet if they'll fit.
Oh, Schubert Unfinished. I think that's in my pile, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Bill Munchiger. Yeah, Schubert Unfinished. It's weird because the Schubert symphonies are kind of out of order from when he wrote them because even though Symphony Number 8 is his unfinished symphony, he has a completed Symphony Number 9. That's the one that Jim showed.
So the unfinished, are they one-sided records?
It's only 2 movements, so yeah.
Hey, Harry, serious question. Did you go to school to ask stupid questions?
One of my favorite moments on there's an early Simpsons episode in like season 2 where Homer really wants to go to something else, but he's at his daughter's orchestra concert and he's like biding his time. He's like, well, this should be over pretty quick. And he gets out. Now, please enjoy the entirety of the Schubert 8th Unfinished Symphony. And the kids play it like horribly. It's like, it sounds awful, but they play the whole damn symphony. Saint-Saëns Symphony Number 3. That's the organ symphony. That's an audiophile record.
Good one, Mazzy.
I'm making my pal. This is one you want, I recall, right?
No, because I've got the classic of that.
Okay.
That's Beethoven violin concerto with Heifetz. Pretty much all the Heifetz living stereos. If you see them, they're all biased.
It always comes around to Heifetz, doesn't it?
So that is actually a later Mercury that is actually a compilation of a couple other recordings, like a couple other albums. They would compile these records into like short, compilations of overtures or compilations of marches or things like that.
Okay.
But that has some great stuff on it. The Bach harpsichord recital. I forget what's on here, but there weren't that many harpsichord records back then, back in the 50s and the 60s. It was kind of a rarity. Yeah. So they're always cool when I can see them. Oh, wait. Rob,
can you make Dana's comment big, please?
Take that up.
That's the best comment of the day.
Yeah.
Rob, take that one out of my pile. That's a 70s repress.
All right.
Hey, Rob paid $2 for that based on your
Rob
recommendation.
just lost his sale. He went long today and he lost his sale.
All right, we're gonna do a few more and then we're gonna end.
Okay. Beethoven 7. That's probably Beethoven 7. I think is my favorite Beethoven symphony. Have you guys heard 7?
Yeah, I have the whole.
Number 7.
That's
number 7.
That's the
number 7.
That's the symphony that by that point Beethoven was pretty much completely deaf.
Yeah, I have the 60s Karajan, and I have a CD.
Looks like Yoko's records.
Is it Daniel Boehm?
Harry, you should like this record because the title's got ball in it.
Yeah, that's
graduation ball singular. It means you can't enlist.
This is an
underrated joke.
That's the one where they pour the pig's blood on the lady, right?
Oh
yeah.
This one is a Classic Records reissue.
Yeah, that's a really good sounding. I have that. That's a really good sounding record.
Okay.
All the Classic Records Mercury reissues, they only did like 8 of them, and they're all fantastic.
Okay.
Another good comment, Dane.
Yeah. You found Harry's a perfect audience for all you morons.
Nice seeing you, Rob. Michael.
Yeah.
Nice to see you.
How much longer is your tour?
2 more days. We've played 5 shows.
It must be cool to do what you do, and especially do it on the 4th of July. I think that's a special performance.
Yeah, I mean it's nice. The crowds are always very appreciative. The setup is, and the sound check, because we're playing all outdoor venues this tour, and I will say this is probably one of the hotter summers in this area of the country they've seen in a while, and it's just some of the sound checks are brutal. Like I'm gonna have a really wicked farmer's tan when I get home.
Now, do you do different reads for temperature? Is that an issue? Seriously?
Not so much temperature, more elevation. We're definitely down closer to sea level here than in Colorado, so that's a factor. But it's just like, I don't know, when your instruments bake. Well, first of all, I'm playing on government instruments, so I'm a little less scared of my instruments. But yeah, when your instrument's just baking in the sun, intonation's gonna kind of go all wacky. I mean, like there's usually a profound difference between like when we play our sound check and all the brass instruments are hot and everyone's playing sharp versus when we actually hit the stage at 7 and it's like cooled down a little and everything's a little more settled.
Is that when you hear all the instruments all going at once and people are like tuning? Is that when that occurs?
Well, it's like when an instrument gives a pitch and you hear the other instruments try to match that pitch. That's they are attempting to get in tune.
You're assuming, of course, that the one pitch they're trying to match is correct.
Yes.
Because if it's not,
well, that's why God invented tuners, Harry.
That's why you have what?
That's why we have tuners.
Oh, yeah. Does it clip on the end?
It can, but it's just.
So you use just like a regular guitar tuner, right? You could use it.
Well, you use.
No, because that works
that has a mic
vibrations.
He's like one of these guys.
Yeah.
You don't need an extra attachment. You just
I got one of those on my phone now.
Now, Harry, do you
got one of those new smartphones?
Do you confuse your electric tuner for your pacemaker, Harry?
Hey, no joke. Our guitar player at the open mic just had a pacemaker installed, and we're very glad that he's healthy. And
does it have a tuner included with it?
Is that amazing. A tuner?
Yes.
Oh, hey, man. Harry, you can say when you do your next gig, one of us is a cyborg.
So, Rob, are you going to host a very special July 4th morning stream just as an extra bonus?
I think anyone who's worth their salt will be out spending the 4th of July with other people.
Yeah, but not at 7 in the morning.
Not at 7.
Well,
I'm thinking of going to Mazzy's. Mazzy, you going to have a barbecue?
No, I don't know. I'm going to go to the movies. I go to the movies.
All I'm getting.
I've been already hearing fireworks for a week around here.
Hold on, before we leave, I would like to point out that Grant's Rock Warehouse, that him and I, hopefully, have started doing this no skips stream. The first of which is up on his channel. Go watch it. It was really good. The whole point of it is I thought of the idea of it, which is not an original idea, but I thought it would work well on his channel. And we've done maybe one or two. I've gone up on his channel with a video, and I thought we could have a good chemistry and it would work better on his channel. So we each bring 2 albums that we believe are no skip albums, meaning you listen from beginning to end. All the songs are worth listening to. And I think on this one, he chose, which did you choose, Grant? You chose Queen, A Day at the Races. And you chose, I forget what the other one was. Yeah, he put a link to it right here.
I'm going to do a podcast later on records that skip.
Have you? I guess, Michael, you haven't had time to listen to
Duran
on Mark Maron.
No, I heard about it though.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Was it good?
I haven't heard it yet. Nobody's ever heard it yet.
Well, I'm gonna have a 9-hour bus ride on Saturday, so I'll listen.
That's perfect. Yeah, hopefully it won't be 9 hours, but they're not the bus. The podcast.
I don't think I can do anything about that, Mazzy.
No.
Hey, I won't say no to streaming tomorrow, but it would have to be like a moment decision. But okay, I'm meeting up with Joey Callio to go record shopping tomorrow. Okay?
Yeah, but not at 7 or 9 in the morning.
Why would you stream tomorrow?
Because it's 4th of July. It's a celebration. It's a special
Aren't
day.
you the one who recommended doing it, Harry?
Only if it was on a Tuesday
I
or Thursday.
brought it up. I brought it up.
Okay, you know what? But all of you, try not to have a good day today, okay?
I'll try.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.